Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Ding dong, ding dong. The sound of the doorbell echoed through the drably painted walls and shiny linoleum floors. The irritating sound awakened me from my slumber. But I wasn't totally awakened. That wasn't possible right then. My brain was somewhere between sleep, and total consciousness. I was aware of what was happening around me, but my brain wasn't able to totally process it. I seemed to act at some kind of instinctive level. My mind was in a fog. Then I remembered. I was in the LDS hospital psychiatric ward, and the doorbell indicated someone was trying to get in or get out of the lockdown facility. My parents had put me there just a few hours before because they didn't know what else to do with me. After that, my parents called our family doctor, who was also a good friend of the family. And he said that I didn't really need to be there. He knew me pretty well. And he went to the hospital. He released me, had me released, and he drove me home. He told me that my mind had some kind of chemical imbalance, and I just needed to take some strong medications and get a lot of rest for the next few months, and then I would be okay. So that's what I did. And after that, my parents, at the encouragement of my doctor, pushed me back into normal life for an 18-year-old. I went back to college. I served an LDS mission. I got married. I graduated from college in accounting, and I started my career with Big Four CPA firms. And we had children. Life seemed to be going pretty well. Then, 15 years later, my dear wife grew tired of having an aloof husband who was a workaholic. And she strongly encouraged me to get counseling. And I love my wife. I didn't want anything to get in the way of our relationship, so I did as she encouraged. And that started a 20-year period, a 20-year journey of self-discovery, of learning to understand myself and what was going on inside me. I learned that my episode when I was 18 years old was a deep episode of depression, and that since then, while I had had nothing that deep, I had had minor challenges with depression. I also learned that I had challenges with chronic anxiety and low self-esteem. My series of psychotherapists also helped me understand where this all came from and helped me review some of the experiences of my youth. When I was 10 years old, my mother died, and that was very painful. My father, having lost his lifelong soulmate, became more aloof with his children and spent even more time working at his career and doing community activities. A year later, my father remarried, and my relationship with my second mother was very stormy. Through all of this, I developed an unhealthy coping mechanism of suppressing my emotions. The therapists helped me through this, and with their work and with the great support of my wife and my children, I got to a better place. Depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem became a much smaller part of my life, and I feel like I've gotten to a place of elevated joy, and my relationships, especially with my family members, is much better. I'm now a retired CPA, and over the last couple of years, I've written a book about my experiences, and it's entitled Rising Above Fog. And in fact, today I go down to the printer and pick up a few boxes of the first printing of this book. And I also expect to be asked to speak on occasion. Authors typically are. Now you may ask, how, isn't it oxymoronic, is that a word? For a boring accountant to write an interesting book and be an engaging speaker, but I am determined to make it work. The key reason why I want to do this is that I want to help people. Perhaps there are some that I will come in contact with, either through my book or speaking, that may have unresolved, painful, emotional scars that get in their way of having the types of good relationships and the level of happiness that they can. And I hope that through their listening to me, that they will be resolved to overcome any barriers to their getting help. I want them to rise above the fog as I continue to do.